Well, hello, and thanks for joining me this week for another Midweek Minute. Today we're going to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 3. The Word of God says, "Then God rested from all the work of creating that he had done." Then God rested. Now, did God rest because he needed to rest? No, God wasn't tuckered out and exhausted from the work that he had done in creating all that he had created. I believe God rested because he was modeling for us what rest would look like and what rest needed to be in our lives. In much the same way when we see at Lazarus' death, Jesus arrives and everyone is grieving and Jesus weeps. Jesus weeps partly to model for us what appropriate grief looks like. And here we see much the same parallel in the actions of God the Father. That God has created all that has been created at that point, and then he rested. Again, not because he was tuckered out, not because he was tired, not because he wiped his brow and said, "Ooh, it's been such a hard week. I've got to go lay down. I've got to take some time to rest." God didn't need that. God's all powerful. God did not need to rest to recuperate himself. God rested to show us what rest looks like and why rest should be important to us. I don't know if you've had one of those days or one of those weeks or maybe even one of those months or years that it just feels like life is exhausting and you're just weighed down and you're physically tired because of maybe all the emotional things that are going on in your life, maybe all the spiritual things that are going on in your life, maybe even some physical ailments have caused you just to be physically drained and you just need that time of rest. And sometimes we can feel guilty for taking that time of rest, for saying, I need to take some time just to let my body recuperate physically because of all the strain that I've put on it. God himself modeled for us that's appropriate and that's good and that's right that we should do that. So what do you need to rest from today? Do you need to take one of those days where you just take a day off, where you just have some downtime? God made a practice of initiating a day of rest each and every week. That seventh day of the week is that day of rest. Yes, it's a day of worship, and I hope you have a place where you are regularly worshiping the Lord each and every Sunday, each and every Lord's Day. But at the same time, I hope you're also taking time to rest and to carve rest into your life because we all need it. God modeled it for us. I hope you're taking advantage of it. I'll see you again next week for another Midweek Minute.